I'd like to start off with a disclaimer that some of the topics of my episodes might not be something that people agree with or even understand. I just want to talk about things that have interested me in my life. Something that has really captivated my curiosity over the past few years has been magic mushrooms. For me personally, psilocybin mushrooms has been extremely positive, so I'd like to share my journey with others for education and entertainment purposes. I would also like to say to anyone listening that what works for me won't necessarily work for you. So, just like with anything in life, use your best judgment and also take ownership in your own actions. I'm just going to make an episode recounting each one of my experiences, and then I'm going to make an episode as a complete overview of my ideas and thoughts about psilocybin mushrooms. The weeks leading up to the experience, I just was trying to do all the research that I could to make sure that it was actually something that I was interested in and curious about and wanted to actually experience. Some of the things that I was finding in my research was the importance of set and setting, basically your mindset, and then where you choose to experience this at. As far as mindset goes, I was in a really good mindset at the time. I was just really worried about not carrying a lot of emotional baggage into the experience. With the setting, I wanted somewhere where I was 100% comfortable. I didn't have to worry about whether or not I was going to be safe during the duration of the experience. So I just chose my house. An area where I could have done a little more research was the dosing. The only research that I actually did was watching a YouTube video of Terrence McKenna where he says 5 dried grams in silent darkness. I can't really remember why, but for some reason, even with that advice, I still chose to do 7 dried grams. And then I ended up mixing that into chopping it up real fine and then mixing it into orange juice. One thing I realized real quick was that I did not like the taste at all, and it was rather off-putting. It took me like 5 minutes just to drink one like red Solo cup. Along with the dosing, another area where I wasn't really as cautious as I could have been was with not having a trip sitter. My reasoning behind that being the only person I trust to watch and trip sit me is my wife, and I really didn't want her worrying about me and worrying if I was okay and have that negatively impact the experience. The only thing with that was, in order for that to be okay, I was supposed to be texting my wife during the experience just to let her know that I was okay, and I didn't realize that that wouldn't really be possible. So after I ingest the mushroom orange juice mixture, I just waited there patiently to notice any effects, and while I was doing that, I was just listening to music to keep me in a good mood, a good mindset. Usually the come up's pretty much the same for me every time. I get really nauseous, and then that's coupled with the creeping sense of anxiety, and then I also feel like I have to piss or shit, usually with nothing to show for it. The first time I noticed like a really major perceptual change was when I got up to walk to my kitchen to get a snack, and I was walking down the hallway, and it just felt very labor intensive to just even walk. So I got to my kitchen and I sat down in front of my microwave stand, and I just remember rubbing my leg because I couldn't get over the fact of how intense the sensation of touch was. Then I look at the door of my microwave stand, and not because I'm pissed off or not because I'm angry, but I just start punching it over and over again, harder and harder, just to feel the sensation. And it eventually broke off, something that I wasn't aware of till after the fact. And then I remember why I actually came to the kitchen in the first place, to get a snack. So I go and open the freezer, and for some reason I pull out a Hot Pocket box, and I'm not eating like the Hot Pockets themselves, I'm just chewing on the box for some reason. I still don't know what was going through my head at the time. Then I just decided that maybe moving around is just too much. So I retreated back to my living room, put on some music that I enjoyed, and just close my eyes. I've never really been able to manifest images in my mind when I close my eyes, so it really shocked the hell out of me when I closed my eyes and immediately there was this net of lights in my field of view. They were spread out far from each other, but they were really bright, like Christmas lights, in the colors green, red, and blue. And they weren't really like round lights. The best way I can describe them is the lights looked like the heads of a neuron. I watched that for a minute before I opened my eyes, and then when I closed them again, I saw the same net of lights, but this time in the middle was a woman in a very ornate red, blue, and green dress with very blonde hair. I can't possibly explain the crispness of the images or the saturation of the colors I was seeing, but it was blowing my mind. I felt a very warm feeling coming from this woman, like she was welcoming me to the experience, so I felt very happy. The visuals I was having after that got much more intense. They changed colors to lime green, dark green, and red, and they started being more kaleidoscopic in nature. I don't remember how long that I was actually in this sort of trance, just watching these visuals go on. But at some point, I was listening to an Alan Watts Chill Step number 9 playlist, and I thought that his voice was actually my mind talking. Like it was actually my inner dialogue. Like I said, I was supposed to be texting my wife and checking up with her to make sure I was okay, but I was just so deep in the experience that I completely forgot. At which point, she had my mom come and check on me, and it really couldn't have been at a worse time. And to this day, I still don't know how I was able to hear my back door open and then get up as quick as I did, because at the time I was rolling around butt naked on my couch. But I literally jumped up and ran to my bedroom so my mom wouldn't have to see me like that. It's not that I was embarrassed by the experience at all, because I was completely fine and comfortable with what I was doing. But I just didn't want my mom to have to see me like that, because I feel like she would pass a little bit of judgment. After a few awkward sentences with my mom and she found out I was okay, she told me to text my wife. She eventually left, but it was pretty safe to say that that experience kind of made me sober up and realize that I was coming down. I felt that overall this experience was extremely positive for me, and it further piqued my curiosity about magic mushrooms and made me want to try them again. One thing it made me realize coming out of this experience was how bullshit the stigma surrounding psychedelics really is, and how the fear mongering by society and also my education system really does more harm than it does good. I will say it is refreshing though to watch society kind of drop the stigma surrounding these drugs and these compounds and form a whole new idea, a whole new approach to drugs in general.